What is going on, everybody? My name is Mario. Welcome back to my channel. I love movies, but do you want to know what I love more? When there's a trilogy of movies where each film gets better than the last. Who doesn't like to get excited for a series of films that go on longer than one 2-hour movie? You get to be invested in characters for over the course of multiple movies. The world building can be larger than life, and when done right, you can have a trilogy of movies that all build off one another to conclude one grand story. When it's done right, that is. If you click this video to hear me talk shit about The Rise of Skywalker and say this movie ruined my life and is the worst thing on this planet Earth, then this video isn't for you. I'm not going to needlessly trash this movie because honestly I don't like doing that. As someone who makes short films and wants to make features one day, it hurts to be told that your movie was bad, even if it is constructive criticism. I always told myself that I would never just maliciously attack a movie or filmmakers because I kind of know what it's like on a much smaller scale, mind you. That being said, honesty matters, and honestly, I did not like The Rise of Skywalker. A lot of my problems are things others have already said before me. The structure of the story is all over the place and doesn't feel coherent. Some character choices make me want to slam my head into the wall. The reveal of huge character moments undermine what was set up in the previous installments, and I could go on and on. But what crushes me about The Rise of Skywalker is the lost potential that there was in this sequel trilogy. As you all know by now, I love The Force Awakens. A bit too much. That movie ended in a way to pass on what JJ brought to that film to the next filmmaker. Thus, Rian Johnson came in to write and direct The Last Jedi. And that film is not for me. It's not the dumpster fire that some people make it out to be, but also saying it's a 10 out of 10 masterpiece, I wouldn't really agree with that either. We can't act like this didn't happen in the movie. I don't really like this movie and I doubt I'll ever revisit it, but I know some people love it and that's cool. The Last Jedi, while not the story I personally wanted to see after The Force Awakens, it is still watchable, and I was interested to see what The Rise of Skywalker would do to tie in The Last Jedi into one final film. And what it did was try to erase a lot of what The Last Jedi did and try to tell its own story simultaneously. Everybody said it by now, but the lack of planning is very apparent in this last movie. The whole sequel trilogy feels like filmmakers battling over their respective characters and stories. Nothing about these three movies feel like they tie in properly into one another. Honestly, I think this film would have worked a lot better had JJ just tried to work with The Last Jedi and integrate what was done there into The Rise of Skywalker, rather than try to fix what was already done in The Last Jedi. There was no way The Rise of Skywalker was going to tell a good story if it's battling the film that preceded it. I get why this was done. The Last Jedi was polarizing as hell. Why not try to unite the fans for one final film? I can respect that and I admire what they were trying to do here. Problem is, they were too busy trying to please everyone that the film they made ended up having one of the most disappointing screenplays of the year. Not worst, but disappointing. The whole film doesn't feel like it's telling a story, it just feels like damage control, and I just can't get over that. I can't just watch a movie that's trying to fix what was set up in the prior one. Never mind the fact that even I didn't like what was done in The Last Jedi, I still would have preferred tackling the story that Rian Johnson created in that film and try to make it work. The Rise of Skywalker was way too busy trying to fix everything that the end result was the most disappointing Star Wars movie since the prequel trilogy. And I am not being hyperbolic by that statement either. The handling of the story in The Rise of Skywalker was so contrived that I just couldn't see past it. There was no chance I could just turn off my brain and enjoy the visuals. Hell, I don't like to do that for any movie, let alone a well-established series like Star Wars. I want to be invested in this story and the characters, not just watch lightsabers for 2 hours. This new trilogy could have been and should have been something great. The beginning of this trilogy was done so well and the setup was there, and what follows is just lacking in so many ways that even when I do rewatch The Force Awakens, I end up feeling upset at where the story eventually continues off to. Considering that film literally ends on a cliffhanger, it's hard to ignore it and act like the film stands alone. Granted, The Force Awakens is not just a setup movie by any means, but the movie was built with the intention that the story would continue off into 2 other films. Of course they're gonna end it the way they did so they can build off it. The opportunity for the following movies to be great was there. The opportunity to make one of the greatest film trilogies of all time was there, but damn it, they ruined what they had. Don't get me wrong, it's not like I can never rewatch The Force Awakens without having fun. Hell, I rewatched it not too long ago and I had a blast watching it. That movie is so good. But it's always on the back of my mind what this trilogy came to. I remember being so excited for The Force Awakens. Every trailer was so great and the community was equally hyped for it. I counted down the days I had until I could finally go watch this film. And then seeing what the film actually was, it was so much fun. I loved all the characters. Snoke was so mysterious and intriguing, and I couldn't wait to see what they would eventually do with him. There was so much intrigue, so much to be excited for even after The Force Awakens. And that's what a great first film in a trilogy does. It sets you up, tells a fun story with characters that you love, and makes you excited for the next installment. The Force Awakens did everything it needed to do, but the movies that followed it did not. I can admit that The Last Jedi is not for me, but The Rise of Skywalker made me angry at the story choices that went on in the film. All that hype, build-up, and excitement, gone, just like that. Look, if any of you guys find enjoyment in The Last Jedi or The Rise of Skywalker, I'm happy for you. This new trilogy worked for you and I'm happy you could enjoy it as much as you did. But I personally cannot look past what this film trilogy built towards. I will still and forever love The Force Awakens. And I have respect for The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker because at the end of the day, they're still movies and getting movies made at this level is practically a miracle. But I have to be honest and admit, The Rise of Skywalker, it ruined this new Star Wars trilogy for me. Well, that's all I got for you guys today. Let me know what you guys thought of The Rise of Skywalker. If you like this video, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel for more movie related content. Thank you all so much for watching and I'll see you all next time.